Okay, here I'm going to show you guys how to roll a slab. For this, you're going to need canvas underneath your clay. This is to make sure that the clay doesn't stick to the table when you roll it out. If you don't have canvas around, just ask me. I have a bin of these little pieces if you need to roll a bigger slab than this. There are bigger pieces. You also might want to use the slab roller if you're rolling out a really big piece. But for small tiles or small pieces of slab, this is the best way to go. So you'll need your piece of clay. I've already pre-wedged this. You can see the spiral happening here in the clay. I'm going to take my clay. I am going to press it down a little bit just to give it a flat top. And this will give me the space I need to start to roll it. Then I have my guide sticks. You have to have your guide sticks in order to make sure that your tile or your slab is going to be level and even all the way across. So whatever the width of your guide sticks are, that's going to be the width of your slab. So I have these on either side. I'm going to set these kind of off to the side. They shouldn't touch the clay. They should just be guide sticks, so they're guiding the clay to a certain width, so they're off to the side. And then lastly, I'll need my rolling pin. So here I'm going to roll the clay back and forth. The rolling pin needs to be able to touch the guide stick. So if your guide sticks are way off here, they're not actually helping. They need to be underneath your rolling pin. So from here, I'm going to press. And I had to put a lot of strength into that, and I'm still not even done. My clay is a little bit firmer, but that's okay. So it's still really wide. I haven't actually rolled down to the guide sticks yet. Something to note is whenever you're cutting out your slab, you need to know ahead of time what size slab you're trying to make. If I'm trying to make a circle, and let's say I need it to be this big, I need to keep rolling it out so that this shape will fit on top of my slab. I also need to make sure I roll it all the way out so that it's thin. So I'm going to keep rotating my clay, and I'll be rolling it out in multiple directions to make sure that it ends up rolling out large enough. And also rolling it and rotating it helps to kind of pull it away from the canvas and keep rolling. I need to move my guide sticks up a little bit so that I don't roll that really thin. All right, I can hear my rolling pin on my guide sticks. So you can hear that it's touching the wood, and now I know that my slab is level. It's nice and even. So here I have my piece, and now I have to figure out, what am I cutting? Am I cutting a circle? Am I cutting a square? However you're going to cut it, you want to make sure that you have a straight edge. So you can use the guide stick or get a ruler. Make sure that when you're cutting either with your pin tool or your, here's your pin tool, or your clay knife. I would use your pin tool for circular slabs, and I would use your clay knife for straight edges. And you want to make sure you keep that knife straight up and down. That way when I cut it out, it's a nice straight 90-degree angle. Otherwise, if I cut at a weird angle, like to the side, that's going to show on this little scrap piece. So then I'll just keep rotating my slab until I get all of my sides cut. And again, you need to predetermine your sized slab or tile for whatever you're using it for, whether it's to create a tile or it's to create a slab to use to build something else. But this is just an example of a little rectangle tile. And now I have a beautiful tile. I will want to go with just a little bit of water around the edges just to make sure that's not super pointy or sharp when it comes out of the kiln. So just really quick right around the edges. And then I always want to consider the bottom of the piece as well, so I'm going to flip it over and also smooth out the back side of my tile. Now I do have the texture of the canvas back here. Might be hard to see on the screen. If I wanted to get rid of that, I would just want to take my metal rib, so you can see the texture of the canvas. I would just take the metal rib and smooth that out. And that's kind of an optional element because it's on the back side, but I would just take my rubber rib and smooth it out. And I would do that all around the piece, but that'll show you the difference between the smooth clay right here and then the textured clay right here. But again, that's the back side. Before you ever do anything with a piece, make sure that you put your name at the bottom. You can just use a pin tool, you can use a pencil, you can use really anything that will write into the bottom of it, just to make sure that it's labeled so that no one else accidentally takes your piece. And now I can do whatever I'd like to on the top, whether that's carve or add something to it. But that is how you roll out your slab.